Education tonight, and Ms. Peterson, pledge allegiance.
All right, let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Lord, we're just so thankful to be here. We're thankful for this wonderful fall weather the last couple of days. Lord, as we present the business of the district tonight, just give us wisdom, be with us in all that we do. Continue to be with our administrators, our staff, our teachers, our students, Lord. Continue to just protect them and keep them safe in everything they do. And we're thankful for a great start to the school year, Lord. We pray this in your precious Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. I welcome you to tonight's meeting of the Jackson County Board of Education, where we will be discussing the business and financial needs of the district. Later on, we will enter into an executive session to discuss personnel and legal issues. At this point, I will entertain a motion for consent agenda items.
I'd like to make a following motion for the following items for consent agenda: 7E, 1 and 5, F, 2, 3, and 5, G, 1 through 23. No, I'm sorry, 1 through 16, and then 18 through 23. H, 4, A, I1, A and B, D, F and G, 2A, K, 1 through 13, L, 1 through 25, M, 1 through 15.
Okay, for consent agenda items in the form of a motion, do I have a second? Second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor? 5 and 0. Need a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smith. Discussion?
I'd like to make a motion to add item 7F6 to approve September 2025 personnel resignation.
F6.
7F6.
Motion to add 7F6, approve September 2025 personnel resignation to the agenda. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Peterson. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? It passes. Back to the original motion. Any further discussion on the agenda? All in favor of approving the agenda? 5 and 0. Brings us to minutes. Item 6A, approve August 11th, 2025 meeting minutes. Jack, we have a motion to approve item 6A. Motion. Motion by Mr. Bailey.
Second.
Second by Mr. Howard. Any discussion?
Peterson was absent.
All right. So, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Howell, okay, any other discussion on the minutes? All in favor? One abstain. Any acknowledgements or announcements, Mr. Bagley?
No, sir.
Do we have any public comments tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, is Brad here? Anybody from Machado Top?
Night, Representative.
Okay. Construction.
So both CPEs are pretty much wrapping up the punch. And then on the concession, I've got a punch list this Friday that I'm actually attending myself. And then on the re-roof, we're at 30-40% right now. Got folks coming out this week with flooring issues that we've been undergoing for. Talking about how many available. More questions?
What are the delays we're having on the re-roof?
Just weather. Right now we got actually good forecast, hopefully making some headway, but there was a few areas where they had some leaks that the water got down on the gym floor. And we got some contractors contractors come in and take a look at replacing the floor, areas that got damaged. We've got one contractor that's already came out that did the flooring originally, and then we got a second number coming in, hopefully Thursday, Friday this week.
My understanding is between now and then, they're gonna try to do some modifications, possibly cut some slits to relieve some pressure, so that we can safely use the floor until the end of the year for both volleyball and basketball, after which we're gonna do a total floor replacement, so, not on our dime.
That's right.
At the beginning of the project, the roofers were pretty aggressive on tear off, and they got caught some of them summer squalls that come in that dump, 3 inches of rain in a matter of 30 minutes. And, so I think that kind of spooked them a little bit, and they slowed down for tear off to make sure that wasn't happening again. So obviously they're behind schedule now, but, last time I talked to them, they feel like they can catch up with these, fall nights coming up where it won't rain as much, so. He still said, he's, contractor still said he'll be finished in time, contract, so.
What's up, it's the weather, a little bit unpredictable.
As long as we have a return to green plan in place.
We do, we're putting pressure on them, trying to make sure that they get everything that they can do as far as, recovered on the weather. We've got a second crew coming in, on the CPO to be able to try to recover, so pretty good.
St. Martin concession stand, we're gonna have that tarp in place or the awning?
So right now, I just got off the phone with them on the way here. It's at the mill, which is the actual guy that's spraying. They had some issues with the coating on the panels of the roof. It bubbled, so they're respraying it. Right now, the ship date, I think, is the 15th, which still, it puts them a little bit late. And that's right before fabrication, so I'm trying to work on some hot shots and some options to get that here sooner or later. But it's not looking promising. It does look like it could be late.
And that's really the only thing that's left undone. Everything else, all the power was on it.
That's right.
So-
So whenever I punch it Friday, everything should be done except for the canopy.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
It's functional, but it's not complete yet,
That's
which is
fine.
what
It's
we
just-
wanted.
And
I
we
know.
talked,
Go ahead, I'm sorry, no.
we talked about the canopy, and one thing that Matt and I discussed was getting it here and painting it once it's here. But that's gonna be a maintenance issue, that'll make that stuff
Create
on.
more problems trying to do that.
Oh, yeah,
If you
no.
spray it in place, like we can make it happen, but when you spray it in place, it's a painted product at that point. So it's gonna probably delaminate later, and you're gonna have to maintenance it for years to come, so.
I'd rather wait.
That's right. Let's
I'd
do
rather
it
wait and
right.
then have it done.
We can still use it for the first game, but let's do it right so we don't have to worry about it. Agree.
How long will it take to replace that floor? Do they have that in the?
That's probably what, 8 to 10 weeks?
Yeah, it's gonna be a long
It-
season.
it's
That's
a-
something I know that Bradford has been coordinating and discussing, but, that's one of those things that you do, you wanna do it right with the wood flooring, so, and they owe it to you, they've acknowledged that, the contractor has, that they're at fault, and it's just a matter of how much are they at fault, how far does it go back? We won't know that until they actually cut into it and determine the damage. Once they remove the wood floor, and you'll be able to determine how much moisture is actually leached into the floor and how far they need to tear it back, so. And they're taking that responsibility upon themselves, so.
I'd say from experience, I don't know if they're not the place to hold.
Yeah, and Covington Flooring, and when I mentioned that there was 2 separate contractors, so I've worked with Covington Flooring in the past, they're actually the original contractor on the floor. And then on the way here, I spoke with Coleman Roof, and they've actually got another guy coming out just to take a look at it and get a second price on it, but Covington, in my opinion, would probably be the ideal contractor to replace it for, and they did it originally, so. Anything else?
Thank you, Matt.
Good.
Matt's come on board, he's done a great job with M&P, I will tell you. He's been very aggressive working on our behalf, and we're very appreciative. Thank you.
All right. Takes us up to, I believe, we have some representatives from Chevron here for presentation.
Thank you.
Good to see you all again. For a reminder, I'm Brady Snook, the Chevron Land Advisor. We have kind of the rest of the Chevron team here. Wanted to come tonight and provide a little bit of an update for you guys on our carbon capture sequestration project. And then hopefully just talk about, after that, the status of the board's review of the agreement, and just maybe just kind of some general timelines on maybe getting this on. Sure. Interested in wrapping up, so. I don't know if you want to back out a little bit.
Which one are we?
The one before that is fine, yeah. Just want to zoom out. But you've got the maps on that you're looking at, it's the same one here. And we've got the blue, or the section 16 lands, and then the yellow is the land position that Chevron owns today. So when we talked with y'all last, we had about 32,000 acres that we had amalgamated together. And what you're seeing on this new updated map is we're right at 42,000 acres. So about a 10,000 acre difference between the time that we last got to speak with the board till now. So really good progress, really good. I think participation throughout the community. We have a lot of owners that we still, left to work with, that we intend to work with in the future. It's just a lot of owners. In the blue there, we've got about 1,000 owners that we're hoping to talk to at some point, but it's just taking time. But we've made good progress, I think, so far. Good work by the team, and we're starting to work on the pipeline piece of it. We have our pipeline guy here, Matt Posner. If y'all have any pipeline questions, but just a really good push, I think, over the last couple months, and y'all can see, the section 16 lanes are very important to the project, and we'd like to obviously have that participation with the school district there. From a unitization standpoint, we haven't zeroed in on the unit size yet, but I can tell you that really any unit size that you would see here is from all the way from this big outline here all the way to a smaller unit. We have reached that 50% threshold that's required by the statute under the Mississippi Oil and Gas Board, and so. If we go with the biggest unit, we've reached it. I think we're at 52% on that big unit, and then if you go on and you make it smaller, I think there's even a smaller unit. We've reached like 93, 94% of that. So it's really going to be kind of working with, like we told y'all, with the Mississippi Oil and Gas Board on creating that unit. That they think is appropriate and that they'll approve as well. So. Some of the team inner workings right now back in Houston, we're working on our Class 6 permit. That's the permit to construct the injection wells. We're focused on having that ready to submit to the EPA either by the end of this year or first of next year. So same timelines that we've always been talking with y'all about. Nothing's changed on that, but just wanted to give an update on there. And then working with the Mississippi Oil and Gas Board on some of the rulemaking and stuff like that's going on with this as well. We're making good progress on that front. We do see the Mississippi getting primacy potentially early next year, maybe even late this year. So taking the authority for the Class 6 from the EPA, we're seeing the EPA starting to give that authority up to the states. Texas is well on our way as well to do that. Of course, Louisiana has that to date, and a few other states have it as well. So the new administration has been more, amenable to push that power down to the states. So it should, if that gets done for Mississippi, it should, I would say, cut the time for the Class 6 permit probably by half. Is what we're thinking. So we could potentially move our project by a year or so if we can get that primacy in place. So we're working the Class 6 hard, but we don't want to submit too early to the EPA and then have to turn around and then work for the states. So we're kind of really trying to make a balance there. So, but yeah, good progress. That's really all I think I had for y'all as some prepared remarks. But wanted to open up any questions about the map or progress or the project as a whole for y'all.
Okay, well, I won't speak for the board, but I can just tell you that this is a unique project in Mississippi, obviously. Y'all are having to deal with some things with the state. We're in the same boat. There was some language in the agreement that Mississippi doesn't allow. So Jack has been working with Secretary of State and other officials up there to try to get that language ironed out and acceptable in Mississippi. After that, we'll have to send it back to y'all to make sure that y'all's attorneys likewise are okay with it. And then after that language is done, we'll start looking and talking about numbers. That shouldn't take nearly as long, but we've got to let the lawyers do their thing first. And then after that, I think we can continue to move forward.
Understand. You have any kind of general timeline of when y'all think that might be?
No, I was gonna say that, maybe within, hopefully by, I'm trying to think, we're already September 8th, so maybe by, October, trying to at least get with y'all's legal people and, because there's some language in there that we can't agree to as far as I know. And, just like in any, like, for instance, the law of the state of Texas would apply to the agreement.
Yeah, no,
I'm
understood.
sure that y'all probably heard that kind of stuff before,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, we have.
but,
That's not- that's not-
I mean, that's kind of the low hanging fruit
Yeah.
there, so, I'll get with, I don't know who am I supposed to call on that?
You can send it to me, and David McNally.
Okay.
You can copy anybody that's been on the chain for sure. I mean, everybody's connected
I
to it.
think I got everybody's card.
Yeah, you can blast it out to all of us and.
So,
and we'll-
you mentioned that the injection wells that y'all had planned, so are any of those injection wells gonna be on our?
When we talked about last, we had no plans of putting an injection or pipeline on there, and that is still the case right now.
It's still.
I will say, I don't want to speak for Matt, but we do have some routes for a pipeline.
I thought there might have been some discussion
Yeah,
of pipeline.
but nothing is in stone at all,
Okay.
and we'd really like to iron out the pore space lease and everything like that, and then Matt will then talk with y'all about that.
That makes sense.
At that point in time, but it's too early, for any of those discussions right now.
We got to get the big stuff worked out
Yeah,
first.
so generally, nothing planned on
As of
those.
now, right.
I know you said you got 42,000 right now. Which ideally, how many acres would you like to have
If we
in
can
the
get,
completion of the project?
in that blue box, if
Yeah.
everybody would agree to an agreement with it, we would take an agreement from everybody, and so that blue,
How many acres is that?
The southern blue box there
Yeah.
is roughly about 66,000 acres.
Okay.
Now, we are focusing in some specific areas within that box because of just some unit boundaries that we're looking at. Again, that's gonna be working with Mississippi Oil and Gas Board on what they'll allow with, we're gonna be the first ones.
I know.
So
that's
we
what I'm
don't,
saying.
we don't
We're in
know.
the same boat y'all are.
Yeah,
so.
If we go to them and we say, hey, this is our unit, in the blue box or in Jackson County, and they say, no, it's gotta be 20,000 acres maximum, we're gonna have to work with them on that. So we don't think that's gonna happen, but we just don't know where their headspace is gonna be. We do know that they were very excited about this. We've been talking with them a lot about it. So, they are excited to see this application come through.
I think they're probably, it's the first time, so they want to take the time and do it right.
Exactly.
Make sure we don't make any mistakes.
And
then-
we feel the same way, for sure.
You asked me about our deadline. What's y'all's deadline? When would y'all like us to?
To be honest with you, I know September's out of the question, but we'd really love to push towards an execution of this by the end of October, if that was something that we could all work towards. Understand stuff slips and everything. It always nice to have a deadline to work towards, and then, if we meet it, great. If we're a couple weeks behind it, that's okay too, We're certainly not gonna walk away for anything like that.
Over 10 days or anything.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. It's just nice to have, I think, something, with the parties that are working towards.
Okay.
All right with that, Jack?
Yeah. I can shoot for that.
Okay. Well, fantastic. This is exactly what we want. I think we wanted to.
Yeah.
Any
Board
questions?
members, do y'all have any questions?
I don't know if anybody's had any questions from anybody in constituents in their districts or not. No, I think the last time we spoke, you guys were going to load up some town halls and communities to kind of inform them of what's coming and all that.
Yes, yeah. And we've had a couple here and there. One at the Daisy Vestry Community Center, with a group of the landowners up there, and then just a few others, informal around the community.
Questions for them?
All right. Thank you for the
Okay.
update. Look forward to talking to you in the near future.
Absolutely. Y'all just let us know if you need anything, on the agreement.
Will do.
Will do. Thank y'all. Thank you.
That takes us to financial management, item 7E2, discuss financial, August 2025 monthly financial reports. Any discussion on the August reports? None, move on. Item 7E3, approve prepaid claims docket. I have a motion for item 7E3.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey. Second by Ms. Smith. Any questions? All in favor? 5-0. Item 7E4, approve open claims docket. Motion for 7E4.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Howell,
Second.
second by Mr. Bailey. Questions on this item? All in favor? 5-0. Under F, Human Resources, discussion of MSBA's legislative survey. This is something I understand we have to do once a year,
Sir,
and we do it collectively as a group.
that's right.
We submit one copy of this.
So I've got a copy here, and I can go question by question if y'all are okay with that. Yes, sir, absolutely. And before I send it up, I'll send it to y'all to make sure that it's accurate in what we went over today. So,
We did this last year. For the questions out there, we either support, oppose, or we have no opinion on the item. I think that there's how many items that are on here?
I think this year they've got 16, and then there are 2 other follow-up questions that we put things up. All right, number 1, legislation that would allow open enrollment for students to attend the school of their choice regardless of residency. All right. Number 2, legislation that would further incentivize retired teachers to return to the classroom.
Support.
Okay. Legislation that would restrict local control of school boards.
Oppose.
All right. Pretty easy so far. Legislation that would allow homeschooled students to participate in public school extracurricular activities. This is what the Tim Tebow law, a lot of people call it, yeah. And it would open up for any student that lives within our attendance center to come, and we would be responsible if something happened, basically, if they're on the team, so.
Oppose.
Okay, legislation that would provide incentives for school districts to move to a year-round calendar.
Are we not almost there now?
Well, you know, that's one, I wasn't sure what their definition of a year-round calendar is. There are some other modifications where they're taking like 2 week, like where we typically take a week, some districts are taking full 2 weeks. I think we're in a sweet spot myself where there is still enough of a summer break, but then you also get a break in the fall, the winter, and the springtime. So I personally like what we have, depending on, you know, what they're considering to be year-round would affect my answer. If they're saying what we're doing is year-round, then I'm okay with it.
I think they're talking about the intervention times.
I agree, so.
Quarters.
Yep.
And then also from a capital construction perspective, the summertime was least disruptive to classrooms.
Right.
when
Makes it
when
tough.
kind of
We're
make
dealing with it.
construction a priority. So I think that having that gap time gives students and teachers a break and.
And us an opportunity to get things done. Taking these schools apart and putting them back together in 2 months is tight as it already is. So we're gonna go oppose that. Okay. Legislation that addresses school board member misconduct.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we don't have that problem here, but I know other districts have had problems where board members are crossing over into getting out of their lane, so to speak, is probably what they're referring to. You know, I'm of the opinion that the board is here to police themselves. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
I prefer that we handle matters internally.
Agreed. Legislation that would require each local school board to formally adopt a code of conduct for board members.
I mean, today we have a code of conduct to follow from the MVE.
Educators.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a requirement. I mean, really, I guess I don't have opinions. I could go either way. I don't think it's necessary. I think we generally follow the requirements.
Yeah.
Y'all do, I think what this is meant to do, it lays down a clear outline of what's expected from board members. I guess when you do it the way that they're talking about doing, but again, all of y'all have been to the training, you know what it is. I guess this is just putting another layer in writing.
Yeah, MSBA does a good job of going ahead and presenting that in the state-required
That's right.
training course.
Correct.
So I really see this as being kind of an extra.
Yeah.
If we did. Are we opposed, or we just don't want to have an opinion on it?
Okay, there we go. Break it up there. All right, legislation that would prohibit the use of cell phones or other personal communication devices by students during school hours.
Board.
I would support that.
I'm good with it.
All right, so we're gonna put support on that one. Legislation that would limit the use of AI, artificial intelligence, in schools.
So again, it's kind of vague.
That's right.
But I do think that the situation that just happened with the teenager is going to really impact some AI use.
Yeah, you know, again, what do they mean by limit the use of AI? Because
Very vague.
that's one of my main initiatives this year, because it's coming. We need to learn and teach kids how to use it properly and ethically, and show them how it can benefit them without harming their learning as well along through the process, so.
Yeah, the thing is, if we don't, as an educational institution, take it upon ourselves to put those guardrails around it and provide those guidelines, then lead up to instances where you have people who just
Yep.
start using it without any understanding.
That's right.
Forethought. So I think it is important for us to embrace AI in, like you said, a responsible and ethical way.
That's correct. Yep.
So I would, I think I would, oppose limiting the use. We need to be taking the lead on this.
Right, yeah, I think our school district should be determining what our limits are.
I think that's why it's left to house rules, so each board can determine what their community wants and needs and have oversight with that. I apologize, holy cow.
We're gonna limit the use of cell phones.
There we go. I always have it silent, that's why I can't believe it. All right, hopefully I don't do it. All right, so are we opposed to that one then? Correct, all right. And spam call too. I'm telling you, it's that time of the month. Legislation that would create a structured statewide approach to the quality early childhood education. Now, that's always the big question. I mean, no one will argue it's needed, but the question is, are they going to fund it? I mean, an unfunded mandate like that is,
Well, see, we don't even, I mean.
You don't even know when that
kindergarten is
starts.
required.
Right?
It's funded,
Free,
but
but
yes.
it's not mandatory? Am
Yeah.
I using those words
Well,
correct still?
they're not required to come, but if they do come,
But you have to
then,
offer it.
that's right.
You have to offer it.
We are.
So is it gonna be the same way with this? I
That's a
mean,
good
you have
question.
to offer it, but it's not required, and so then you still have a big gap, and now there's all this pressure on
What's
the
the age?
teachers.
When's it start?
Well, some of the school districts are going at 3 years of age.
Yeah.
I mean, in some of our districts,
And we have some IDEA students that are identified, and once they are, we have some programs for them in our schools right now. We already have that in place. But this is, I'm sure statewide, pre-K is what this is.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to it, I'll be honest with you, but again, like
But
Ms. Malcolm said, we've got to have funding for it if we're going to do that. And you got to have a little bit of a heads up too, so that your district has the facilities necessary to host pre-K, because it's a different animal, as well as transporting those pre-K kids. You've got to transport them a certain way as well, so.
The side note out there, you fund it.
Support and asterisks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's supported.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
But we
fund
don't
it.
currently have
There you go.
Yeah, if you
funding
fund
for
it.
it.
Okay. Okay. Legislation that would allow for a salary supplement for experienced teachers willing to relocate to F-rated school districts.
I thought there was already something in place for that.
Not that I'm aware of, I don't know.
Yeah, I would.
There's
I know
a- I
some
think there's
districts,
a-
they were getting,
They talked about it.
like signing bonuses, so that's at one point. I'm not sure if it was through the state, I think it was through Teach America.
That's the one I'm familiar with right there, yes. Yep.
I mean, I'm not in favor of incentivizing us losing teachers to go somewhere else.
Well,
I'm gonna say
that's-
this,
double
hopefully this
edge.
never affects us directly.
I think the money would have to be
Significant, I agree with you.
Primarily, this is up in the Delta and a few
Yeah.
pockets in the state.
I think it would be a way to maybe encourage new people. You know,
But they're wanting to get experienced teachers, that's the key there, so.
I think they're going to
Pull.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, you think about it, we've got a teacher here that's, you know, been with us for 20 years, really good, and they're getting ready to retire, they want to get their high four.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but I will say, MECA MDE designates someone with a license, even with no experience, as a veteran teacher.
Well, I mean, they'd have to
Yes.
flesh out the legislation. to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I just, incentivizing people to leave one district to go to another one, to me, I just. Encourage poaching.
So what's driving the question?
The ability to attract good, solid, quality teachers. And I'm telling you, it's getting tough for everybody. Because that would be one of my concerns as we get further down the list. One of the major concerns moving forward is the ability to attract highly qualified teachers.
And we have certified teachers in our classrooms. Not all schools have that.
Okay.
That's right.
They have what they, is a warm body.
Whatever they can get.
And, you know, as much as we, you know, around here, we're very sheltered from a lot of that. There could be an F district here in 2 years, not here, in our district,
Yeah, but
but
close by.
in a neighboring district. And if this, you know,
Well,
Well,
part
I
of the
mean, we had
unknown
Moss Point. that
too
was-
is they're getting ready to
They have, but
recalibrate.
what I'm saying is.
What is it, A,
They're
B,
close.
C, D, and F? So you don't know what's gonna happen when they recalibrate.
they're changing the accountability model.
I
you
mean,
just
so
don't know.
it's an unknown.
I say opposed.
Okay,
Okay.
moving on. Legislation that would allow public funds to be diverted from public schools to non-public schools, homeschools, or virtual schools by means of vouchers, tuition tax credits, or scholarships.
So in theory, it sounds great.
Yes.
But logistically speaking, it's a nightmare, so I oppose it.
I oppose it.
I agree, no.
We oppose that. Good choice. Legislation that would allow public charter schools in districts with successful accountability ratings of A, B, or C.
Do we have an opinion on this?
Again, the question is, when they say a public charter school, where's the funding for that public charter school gonna come from?
I can tell you, the kids that enroll, their money is gonna follow them to that school. So my question is this, if you have a successful school district, why would you be creating a charter school in that district? I guess is my question.
Yeah, because from what that reads, they would only be able to create one in A, B, or C areas.
Well, right now, they can only do them in like F areas, but they're trying to expand that is what they're trying to do.
They're wanting to be able to put a charter school
Anywhere they want to.
Right now, the way the law is written, they can't do that.
That's right.
But I would encourage you to look and see what the success rate of charter schools are in the state of
Yeah,
Mississippi.
they're not very successful.
Anywhere.
They're not very much better.
Legislation that would provide incentives to people majoring in education and/or people seeking an alternative route license.
100% support.
Yeah.
Gotta have more.
Yes. Legislation that would consolidate school districts to create a county-wide school district in each county. I have done this, and I will tell you, in the district that I came from, Octavia County, this was needed because the kids in the county schools were being left behind. They did not have the resources or opportunities that Starkville schools did. This was legislatively forced, and it was the best thing for the kids. Now, I think each county probably has unique situations. When you look at Jackson County and even Harrison County, you've got some wildly successful, some of the best schools in the state right here. And now you're gonna change that and try to consolidate, how many kids? We're talking about 9,000 students. Ocean Springs got 6,000. Pascagoula Gaucher's probably got 7,000, and then Moss Point's probably got, 1,800, 2,000. So you're creating a very big, very diverse school district if you did that.
There are other
But
counties.
Chevron money would do it.
You got a long memory, Ms. Peterson, yes. So I think it needs to be county by county and the situation that's happening. I mean, there are some counties in the state, I would absolutely agree, need to be consolidated. I mean, you've got districts with 800, 1,200 people. I mean, it's a lot of waste as far as administrative cost and things. You could do a lot better if it was consolidated. So there are some situations.
In my home county, in Lawrence County, they consolidated many years ago.
Yep.
There was a lot of heartache, a lot of frustration because people were aligned with their, local schools.
Of course.
They wanted their own identities, but then once they banded together after a couple of years, they improved dramatically.
Yep, I
I think
think
it was
it's done
very
well for them.
beneficial and consolidated and streamlined efforts for them. Certain counties it works.
Yep.
Certain counties where I think there is a tremendous population where we are.
Yep.
It would make it very difficult and cumbersome. I don't think we want to come to DeSoto County Schools.
I think they've just grown over the years, is what's happened. They were not originally that large. They have just, the growth they've had up there over the last decade has been unbelievable.
I mean, I'm in favor of this,
Yeah.
but only where it makes sense.
I agree.
So responsibly apply.
So do you put half support?
Support, opposed, or no, or no opinion.
Oh, no, that's a,
Well, we oppose this because we don't want it in each county.
That's right.
This says in each county,
Yeah.
so it's
They're gonna
not.
get laws about consolidation.
They can consolidate
Some
any
statutes.
districts they want. That's right, by statute.
And they've already got it if they,
I would recommend the legislators look at it county by county and the situation in the schools and what's best for the children and do it accordingly.
pre-imposed how this is worded.
Yes. Legislation that would shift the control of student attendance officers from the Mississippi Department of Education to local school districts. I have been asking for this for the past 4 years. I would love to see Dr. Williams overseeing these, absolutely.
You were going to say, I was like,
She does a great job. I think she would work well with these people in ensuring that the kids that are not in school understand why it's important for them to be in school and doing everything we can to make sure that they're there.
Mark, we support it and put the rules on by. She just
Well, that's because this year, we had our first go-around with it, and he said, listen, you're gonna take the lead, and I said, well, sir, yes, sir. And from that point on, we started cleaning up and getting some consistency across the district, and we were able to make sure we didn't violate FERPA laws under the leadership of Mr. Chris and Collins, and so, yes, we took what was broken or disconnected and disjointed and had a meeting with the state regional director, and everyone got in line. So, yes.
So we've got some attendance officers we haven't had in the past. We've had schools that for the past 3 years, they haven't had one, and we're not the only one. These are schools all up and down the coast that are like this. So they were coming in making some certain demands that we couldn't and shouldn't be doing legally, but we worked through all of those things. So we have a good process now, reporting those names to the attendance officers so that they can follow up and do the job that they need to do. And Dr. Williams did a great job of working with me to make sure all these things were ironed out.
Very good.
Okay, 2 more. Number 17, what are your board's top priorities for the upcoming legislative session?
Funding.
Well, I would have said that in the past, and I'm just telling you my perspective. Amber will tell you, there's never enough money, we always want more. But I think they have held true to what they said they were going to do when they changed the funding formula. We got more money this year than we did last year. And as long as they continue to progress and follow the 10-year plan that they've got outlined, I think we're in pretty good shape. We've tightened our belt where we had to. Now, there are some districts that are grandfathered in right now, districts up, about 2 or 3 of them up and down the coast. Here, after the grandfather clause runs off in another year or 2, they're about to have to come up with millions out of their budget because the funding is going to come back to a certain level. But for us, for the foreseeable future, it's going to continue to rise. So I don't see a problem really where we are right now. But if we want to put funding on there, I can. But I feel comfortable where we are financially in our district right now.
well, personally, I'd like to see an incentive, them to incentivize subject area tested teachers to help encourage that. I mean, because so many teachers I know personally that I talk with, they're getting out, I mean, there's so much pressure on those subject areas.
So tested area teachers
Yeah.
receive some type of an incentive for teaching those?
Maybe we just like math or science. You know.
I want to see a reduction in testing. And other states have already moved to do this, and we definitely, we need to do this. We spend way too much money on testing, way too much.
And I will tell you, they are going to be removing as a required state test. You still have to take U.S. history, but the U.S. histories will not have a state test anymore. That's mandated that you have to pass. Those numbers are being moved over to the readiness index. So that's one test that they have removed. It's still a lot of testing, though, I will tell you.
Well, we start in kindergarten.
Get a baseline,
Get a
yeah.
baseline.
Yeah.
But there's
3rd grade on,
benefit
every
in
year.
getting a benchmark assessment and then have progress monitoring
Yeah.
within the schools.
Yep.
That's great. You can do that with Dibbles, you can do that with so many other things. Now,
The state's actually coming out with something, they're actually piloting it this year. I don't feel comfortable jumping into that pilot yet. A lot of schools up and down the coast aren't doing that, but they're going to start having a benchmark for state, throughout the state next year. That's gonna be for everybody to use.
So everybody has to use the same benchmark.
I don't know that they're gonna have to use it, but they're piloting it this year.
They're trying to get data to see how accurate it is.
Yeah.
As a predictive model.
The benchmark assessment is, to me, is much more valid
Absolutely.
than sticking third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders, sixth graders, seventh graders, all the way up. I mean, it's.
This is something that can be done all year, I agree. Common assessments and major benchmarks.
I don't know that you'll get any argument from any educator that we need additional testing or that we wouldn't benefit from reduction in testing. I don't think that at all. Unfortunately, we're not the ones that get to make that decision right now.
No, but we can put that on.
That's right, yes.
So reduce the number of testing, okay?
I would make a suggestion to defeat school choice. As a legislative, if that's, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
oppose that, then I think that would
School
be a
choice.
priority for
The
the
Speaker of the House's main issue.
Oh, it's coming,
They're not-
it's gonna be a fight, I'm telling you right now.
They're not gonna stop.
So no school choice?
I agree.
Okay. That's 3 right there. Okay, all right. Last question. What are some of the top issues that are currently in your district? And I think I've already spoken to it a little bit. From my standpoint, I think it is the number of good, solid, highly qualified teachers that are coming into the profession right now. And I don't think we fully understand yet the impact of the new PERS level they put on for retirement and how it's going to
That is
impact.
gonna be.
I know some people make it sound like it's gonna be okay,
No.
but I don't know, it may be 2 years from now that we really start to see the impact of it. But even without that, we had less and less people coming into the profession. And not just people coming in, good, qualified people. Sometimes people just get in because they can't do anything else, but I can get a license. But that's not the kind of people we need coming into education necessarily.
They're in a tough spot.
I know.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yep.
So but that's been a case of kicking the can down the road for a long time.
It has.
And so they're trying, but it's not a popular option.
And it may not have a big impact, but my worry, and it's not just gonna be for education. It's gonna be for city and county workers and state workers as well. Anybody that's in that, once they see what it is and how it works, they may be in it for a year or two and then realize, I can work 30 years and maybe I'll have a retirement, maybe I won't. And they might pull out within 2 or 3 years.
But that is a big factor.
That is.
In our district with impacting people who choose to go into the profession.
Correct. So,
I agree with that.
okay.
So that's teacher shortage
Yes, sir.
impact and also
Lack of
retirement.
good, qualified teachers coming into the profession.
And also address the retirement.
Okay.
I also think there needs to be a bigger incentive to be a teacher. Maybe something on a tax break or some type of incentive towards their education or extended education. So that they get the opportunity to expand. I think they're Band-Aiding a lot of things and not really trying to fix it.
Okay. All right, so compensation for educators then? Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, the state raised it up a couple of years ago, but everybody around us has quickly countered and we're back at the bottom again, so, yep. Okay. Teacher pay.
I agree.
I think one of the other things that we've seen is a little bit of an issue for us, especially with our expanded CTE offerings, is funding for those offerings. Because we've had to fund those.
Do it ourselves, so to speak.
So I
Okay.
think that would be helpful for us as well.
I agree.
Funding CTE
Oh,
programs?
yeah.
especially new CTE programs.
We were supposed to, those were supposed to be funded originally, and then they come back and said they couldn't.
That's correct.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's absolutely correct. But we found a way this year, working with Amber in the budget to make it happen, and our goal is, moving forward, make sure every one of our programs are funded. I think that's something I think we all agree philosophically, that it's important to make sure and fund these programs for these kids that know this is what the profession they want to do and get them ready for it. And not necessarily have to go get a four-year degree to do so. Some of them may still choose to do so, but those that choose not to can either step right into the profession and/or transition right to the community college for another year or so to get the credentials they need to make a good quality living. Okay, anything else? All right, well, I will get that typed up and get it to y'all, hopefully by the end of the week for you to review on the weekly report. And then we can get that sent off. We've still got until October 20th, but I just soon get it done and get it checked off my list, so. Thank y'all.
Okay, that takes us to, under Human Resources, new item 7F6. Approve September 2025 personnel resignation. Do I have a motion for 7F6? Motion by Ms. Peterson,
Second.
second by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
So what is
What is that?
7L6?
7F6 is added earlier. Approve September 2025 personnel resignation. This is a late add to the agenda.
Yeah, it just came in today.
I'm working on it here. I can't find out. Okay, so which one was 7?
7F6. We added to
We
the agenda.
added, okay.
Yep.
What was the?
And Ms. Peterson gave the motion, Ms. Smith the second, and we voted 5-0 in favor. Okay, that takes us to policies then. One policy that we have that is not on consent is on item G17, which is to present and approve policy IHE, promotion and retention. Do I have a motion for item G17?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson,
Second.
second by Mr. Howell. What is it we're being asked to do here?
Well, actually, I hate to do a present and approve all in the same night, but we were asked to submit a series of things, Dr. Saunier, and the state came back and said,
They rejected our policy as it was written, and they gave us the quotation marks of this is why it was rejected, and asked us to delete the part that's deleted on there, and then we can resubmit it.
yep. It was actually due, 2 days ago?
It was due Friday.
Yeah, and they wanted me to do a special call meeting, and said, no, we're not doing that. We got a meeting in 2 days, so.
So
It was short notice, they gave it to us a week
They
ago.
basically redlined that.
Yes.
Last
It's part of the Literacy-Based Promotion Act. Our policy for that is tied in with our promotion and retention policy.
So to get in compliance, we have to strike this. And then we'll submit it tomorrow if approved tonight.
So this was a local decision to have a restriction. This is not a state decision to have a restriction. Wonder why we put it on there.
I don't know why some of the policies were doing
We're working through it. We've got something to do.
Yeah, I stay awake at night wondering about it.
Well, I we put it in there to keep children from continually not being promoted and age issues and.
Probably trying to prevent dropouts.
Yes, and,
Any questions about this one?
We don't have a lot of choice.
I mean, as long as everybody realizes that this is not something that we would typically do, it's not something you've asked us to do. You know, this is, MDE is requesting this with a deadline,
Of immediately.
Yes.
so.
Are we ready to vote then? All in favor?
Thank you.
Several policies on present. Items G 24 through 49, any discussion on any policies that are presented today? Moving along then, under curriculum and instruction, item H1A, presented Jackson County School District Student Handbook revision. Any discussion on that? H1A.
That was just the change on the diploma, right?
Correct.
Special education, and student services, under career tech, item 4B, H4B, grant change, JCTC office assistant position from 4 hours per day to 8 hours per day. Discussion on H4B.
So currently, the only office personnel you have is this part-time person plus the bookkeeper.
So, when I first got here, I guess 2.5 years ago, or yeah, I'm going to 30 years, said last, I saw that there was probably a need for it then. As far as what the bookkeeper does is probably outside of some of the stuff that she should be doing. But now, here recently, especially with added programs and the different funds that she's dealing with every day, and Amber probably could speak to this better than I could, because her purchase orders and quotes and stuff go through her office. She's doing a ton of work. And so we really need somebody else there that's there all day to kind of pick up the slack, because at about 11:30, she's, doing both jobs and really can't focus at all on her bookkeeping work. And, there's a lot more of it here now with especially the stuff we've added.
So I know in the letter you referenced the attendance and contacting the schools and stuff, but now that we have the CTE programs at the schools, there won't be that, right?
Well, we
Contacting the
still have,
schools.
with that, yeah, there are gonna be some that are there, but with those programs that here in Van Cleve and JCTC are still open to St. Martin and East Central, because not all of the programs we offer at St. Martin and East Central, just like, for instance, automotive is still at Van Cleve here, and so if students from East Central or St. Martin want to take automotive, we're not restricting them from that. So we're still doing attendance on those students all day that are coming from East Central and St. Martin if they want to be in a program that's not on their campus.
Thanks for that. Moving on to operations and support, under I. Item I1C, approve the East Central track restroom. I have a motion for I1C.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey. Second by Ms. Smith. We're being asked to approve.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
This was something that actually y'all spoke to during a board meeting last year and asked us to bring you because they do not have restroom facilities out there. So,
The thing I was concerned about is we were approving permission to construct it without any financial information.
Yes, ma'am, I didn't put it on there, that's my fault.
I kind of figured that's what it was.
Yes, ma'am, I got it for y'all. So, Coach Wallace spoke with Blocks, the container shipping building that builds the repurposed containers and shipping containers. And so for $38,000, you can get a 3-bathroom unit. So they're all unisex and one's handicap accessible. And that is delivered, and then anything else needs to be done, will be done in-house. Hooking up the power, the water, would have to do a septic tank out there. And estimate price on that's another, about $6,000. They're looking at a total of about $44,000 to have a bathroom facility at the track out there.
And so this will just cut, the maintenance.
We will handle it, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I put a map on there. Chris, can you pull a map up, Randy? Kind of where you think about putting it, but that's just a general area. Going down.
At the bottom.
At the bottom. But that sidewalk, when Coach Wallace and I was looking at it the other day, this morning, he said he thinks it may fit better on a sidewalk, since the sidewalk already extends over there. The power's closer to it, the water runs through it anyways. But, so just so y'all know, the plan is to move it over on a sidewalk, not at the end of the, what we talked about already.
That makes sense.
So if we approve this, then we are saying okay to the 44,000
Yes,
or
ma'am.
45.
Yep, we've already gotten 2 quotes on it, this was the best price. It's much needed out there, I mean,
And actually, I talked to Brad about it, and Brad said, you know, this is what he would suggest do. Us doing something like this out there, just have a full-scale, restroom.
Jack, can we approve it without a quote in the minutes?
For that amount, I think, yes.
Is it under a certain
I
threshold?
think it's maybe under 75, I think.
As long as you're under 75, then.
You're right, we want plan that.
Okay. Any other questions from this? All right, item I-1E, approve SNHS and SMMS baseball teams matching grant.
Wants to put them on, I apologize about that. I meant for the bleachers. My mistake, I'm sorry.
I don't see bleachers on here.
Yeah, the bleachers
Softball.
has D.
I'm sure it's the same scenario,
We
it
did not
is.
have we did
Yeah.
not have any
Chris, how much is it?
financial information.
About 28,000 to buy them. If we install them, if we get them installed at 16,000, about 45,000. And that was the bleachers at St. Martin softball field. They got a small set there now. So our plan was to move those and add bleachers like at the baseball field here in Van Cleve and East Central. But the only difference is those will sit on the ground and not elevated because they're not behind the dugouts.
Like it is here, it's basically the same ones on the softball field here, it's just those had to be elevated. The ones in St. Martin do not, we can put them straight on the ground, so.
And we went with this size because they fit on the slab already there and all that kind of stuff. So, and it'll fit about 180 people per side, so you're talking about 360.
That was my mistake, I apologize.
It's okay.
We still need a
Motion.
a second for.
Well, it's already on the consent agenda.
Yeah, I know, but she needed an explanation. I knew what she was asking.
Yeah.
We're on item I-1E, which
Yeah,
is
1E.
baseball team
Oh, okay.
matching grant.
Motion.
Mr. Bailey will give that motion. And Ms. Smith will give the second. All in favor of that? 5-0.
Who was the second on that? I'm sorry.
Ms. Smith. Okay, that takes us down to 16th section. Item J2, approve 8-year appraisal amendment to Jackson County Board of Supervisors Lone Compass Park lease. I have a motion for J2. Motion by Mr. Howell,
Second.
second by Ms. Peterson. Any discussion on this? All in favor? 5-0. Item J3, approve request to JCBS to strike past due taxes for parcel number 015160200.007. Do I have a motion for item J3?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion on this item? Is this similar to what we were doing
Yes,
last
Just
month?
housekeeping.
We can clear it off so we can start leasing it again.
Okay, all in favor? 5-0. And item J4, approve assignment of lease from Amy Bird to Jaden Bird, SL 6885. Motion for J4.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson, second by Mr. Howell. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? Need a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson,
Second.
second by Mr. Bailey. All in favor? 5 and no. Mr. Barry.
Okay. Start off with the student attendance report for August, and it's actually really easy. This one tonight is Van Cleve made a clean sweep. So Van Cleve High School had 93.47. Van Cleve Middle School was 94.60. Van Cleve Lower Elementary was 95.03. But the winner is Van Cleve Upper Elementary with 95.48. So congratulations to Van Cleve. They've been doing an outstanding job getting students here, and just district-wide, we're almost at 94%, which is very strong, I will tell you, talking to some of our colleagues up and down the coast. Now, the attendance report for the classroom teachers is a little more complicated, so we're going to try to work through this one. So we'll go this time from high school to middle school too. For high school, we've got a tie between St. Martin High School and Van Cleve High School. Both of them had 97%. For the middle schools, we had Van Cleve Middle School and East Central Middle School were both tied at 97%. And then for upper elementary, it was East Central Upper Elementary with 98%. And then for the lower elementaries, it was St. Martin East Elementary at 98%. So the overall for the month is a tie going to East Central Upper and to St. Martin East. 98% outstanding. So that's what we like to see.
Quick question on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
teacher stuff. I know we went to the Kelly services for substitute teachers. How's that going?
I've been hearing positive reviews myself, and I saw him stick a hand up there.
I can speak to that as,
Yeah.
we have.
I know where he's going with this.
We have been, actually our last meeting, I was talking about this. We've been very pleased with, at least my school, we've had, teachers out, and if we give, just even a day's advance, they're getting picked up. And not only that, it's some of the subs that we've known from years prior that we're glad that are back on our campuses, but it's some new ones that we've never met before, and they're getting at least as, I can only speak for my facility across the highway, but they're getting field and it's quality people too. So they've done a good job. They've been trained well by Kelly. So we've been very pleased, or I've been very pleased with it if somebody's speaking from a school perspective.
I haven't heard negative feedback yet.
Our fill rate is better.
So if it's a last minute need, they don't fill it?
No, I
Oh,
wouldn't.
no,
I
we
wouldn't
do. You
say
can
it.
put it on the
Yeah.
board, to be filled. It's just sometimes it depends. If everybody's already selected somewhere to go to and you can't get somebody, then it's not filled.
We've had good luck with some of the
Usually-
last minute.
Usually it's one of those, teacher gets in a car accident on the way to work, or she gets to work and she's sick, or
Yeah.
their kid's sick or whatever. The morning of, those are always the hardest to fill. Usually, if they have 12 hours notice, we get it filled. I mean, we've had really good success with that. It's the last minute, those are a little bit harder for them. But even those have been picked up a lot. The fill rate's a lot better than it has been.
100%. Yeah, it's a lot better.
That answer your question, Ms. Smith? Good. All right, moving on along. We've got, first of all, we still don't have our drug results yet from last month, so as soon as we get those in, we will get those to y'all. The Planning Commission meeting. One definitely jumped out here at me. We've been talking about it for a while, and it is upon us. In fact, I met with one of the gentleman that works for the company and Ramsey Farms Road out there on Joe Batt and Jim Ramsey. They're looking to get final confirmation next month to proceed with construction. In November, they are going to start and plan on doing at least 10 houses a month moving forward. And if they sell well, they will do 20 to 30 houses a month moving forward. And that's, phase one is 550 single-family residents. So that's 1,371 houses altogether just in that one development. But I know we've been talking about it for a couple of years. It is here, and it will be starting in November. And if I have to guess, and the interest rates go down like they're speculating, I have a feeling homes are going to start selling again. So that's one we need to pay attention to. On a side note too, for those of you that don't know where Admiral Landing is off Old Fort Bayou, it's right before Bayou Tala there. I rode through there last week when I was over in St. Martin, and that thing is curbed and guttered, and it looks like it's got all of the facilities, so I anticipate that getting ready to start construction. And that's 117 houses just in that first one, with townhouses to come later on down the road in other developmental phases. So there were a couple of other smaller ones, a 2-parcel in Latimer off Roanoke Road. It's just 2 houses. 2-parcel on Tanner Williams Road in Hurley, and then a minor subdivision of 5 parcels in Shady Pine Drive in Latimer. But those don't compare to the beginning of the Ramsey Farms development, which is definitely will get your attention quickly when they're building that many homes. What got my attention was he said, we're going to do 10 to start with, but if they start selling, we can do no problem 20 to 30 a month. So those will be coming online a lot faster than I anticipated. Wanted to remind everyone, next month, we'll be doing our board tour, East Central. So very much looking forward to heading over to Hurley for that. I'll be sending out, of course, the schedule ahead of time. I think we had a good schedule last year, and it didn't force us to be there 8 hours for it and everything. We'll be efficient, but we want to make sure that we start with the data discussions at each school level. I think that's very important for y'all to understand what the goals are for each school and why those goals are in place, and for you to ask questions for our administrators as well, and then with a follow-up brief tour of our facilities. But I'm very proud of the state of all the facilities right now. I wouldn't hesitate to take you to any school right now anywhere in the district. They've done a really good job, both with the cleaning and with the maintenance of keeping the grounds in neat and orderly and working conditions. So I think our team's doing a really good job this year. And that concludes my report. Would request an executive session for personnel.
Need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fowler. 6:12. We're in closed session, everyone. Thank you.